All right, here we are with our second segment of the day on the No Fly Zone podcast. We just added Seahawks down in the bottom corner of your screen. Seahawks, say hello.
What's up?
All right. Now we're talking about, you would think that we bring him in and we talk about Seahawks, but we're not. We're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints and offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael. The Saints blew the hell out the New England Patriots. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was at my football game. We won 33-18. I didn't want to have any spoilers on what happened in the Saints game because I couldn't wait to go and see, one of my guys, Mac Jones and Derek Carr and the Saints. And I was like, that's the game I wanted to watch. I thought it was going to be a good game. Well, it was an absolute blowout. Pete Carmichael, though, is a topic of discussion today. So, Kyle, I'm going to let you go. You run a Saints page. Let the whole world know again. Let's get them there. And you let them know what you think about Pete Carmichael and the Saints team.
Okay, well, the biggest thing coming into the game is right before the game, I think it was Adam Schefter broke that Pete Carmichael is potentially on the hot seat right before the game. If things didn't go right against the Patriots, Pete Carmichael could have been out of at least calling plays. He could have at least stopped being the play caller, and those duties would be held to somebody else. Well, I guess Pete Carmichael might have felt a certain way about this because he didn't even just call a good game where the Saints finally scored points. He called one hell of a game. There was motions. We did a shuttle pass. The Saints did a shuttle. I don't know how long it's been shuttle pass. It's not like the shuttle pass is the most creative thing in the world, but damn, Pete Carmichael called it. It wasn't a first down run incomplete. It wasn't a deep shot on third down and 2, right? It was a shuttle pass to get the Saints in the end zone, which was the biggest problem is we can't score in the red zone. Pete Carmichael called one hell of a game. Now, to say if his job is safe, I'm not sure because you got we played 5 games, 1 out of 5. 20% of his games. Okay, I would say 2 because I liked his play calling on Tennessee. I'm not gonna lie, Tennessee was pretty all right, but 2 out of the 5 games so far. But every other game has been, if not bad, terrible. Like it's been pretty bad. I wouldn't say his job is safe when it comes to play calling, but he definitely took a step and maybe got his feet wet on realizing what he can really call and the difference these types of plays, disguising all of this and what it really does for your team.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, that shovel pass is Foster Moreau. That's right out of Kansas City's playbook. So, Jackson, you're familiar with the shovel pass. I mean, to Foster Moreau, I'm like, he's going to get maybe 2 yards. He kept pushing. He got in that end zone, man. I thought he was going to be stopped. That was a hell of a push by him. Great play by Foster Moreau. And it shows you that, if you can start making a little bit of a creative offense, it can help this team out a lot. Because, again, it wasn't the same old stuff, the same old Saints failing in the red zone. They designed a play, it worked, and they scored a touchdown. Holy crap, they actually scored once. I think they were a lot better in the red zone. Weren't they like 3 for 4 with touchdowns or something like that, I think Carr said? I don't remember the exact numbers. I think he said, I think they were 3 for 4, and he told the one reporter if they went 4 for 4, he would have given him a handshake or something like that. But anyway, Jackson, what are you thinking? I mean, you saw this team a while ago. I mean, what are you feeling like?
Yeah, look, I think the Saints had a really good game against a struggling Patriots team, so it's not, take that away. But I think it is a really good thing to see them get more creative. This offense is so, there's a lot of weapons. Alvin Kamara coming back, Kendre Miller, the rookie out of TCU.
Yes.
Michael Thomas, he's coming back. He's healthy. I'm a big fan of Rashid Shaheed. I think he's a really solid, third option at receiver. And then, Chris Olave, he's a stud out of OSU. So there are a lot of good pieces on this offense. And, it comes back to, Derek Carr. Can Derek Carr, get the ball to where it needs to go? And I think he can do that. When it comes down to crunch time, I think he can do it. So I think, this is a really good building block for the Saints. I think they're in a really good spot right now. I don't have their schedule pulled up, but so I can't really tell you what.
I'll tell you right now. So right now the Saints are, right, if I'm not mistaken, they are third. Right now they're actually third in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Really tied for number 2. I mean, right now they're behind Atlanta. So according to where they have them right now, but they're both 3-2. The Buccaneers are 3-1. When you look at their schedule, they got, in my opinion, a not so bad. It's not a crazy schedule. I mean, you look here, you got Houston next week, which Houston's a tough team. You can't crap on Houston. They've been tough. Jacksonville, who seemed like they figured it out against the Bills. You got Indianapolis, who's a tough team, but if Anthony Richardson's not there, that should be a win. Chicago, okay, again, I think that's a very winnable game. Minnesota, who knows, that might be right when Justin Jefferson's getting back, so we'll have to wait and see if he's back or not, but that's a winnable game. Atlanta, Detroit, Carolina again, the New York Football Giants, the Rams, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons. So, this team, man, they get in a little bit of a run, and I'm telling you, winning this division is still not out of the picture. Seahawks, what are you thinking about this Saints team?
Okay, so I liked what they did versus the Patriots. I know the Patriots, they're not a very good team this year, obviously. Their offense is pretty much dead. It might be the worst in the league, but the Giants are like right there with them. But I think the Saints overall called a much better game than they have in the past. In fact, I remember I provided a statistic in the group chat. It was like, the first 4 games of the season, the most points the Saints had scored in the game was 20, which, at that point they were scoring like 15.5 points a game, which is not that much. It was like among the worst in the league. But against the Patriots, they really showed what they're capable of doing, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And here's something else I'll say, okay, because I want to make this clear. I am a big Derek Carr supporter, but I'll tell you this much. I still think there's a lot left on the table, not necessarily with him, but I think with that offense as a whole, because when you look at that game, 34-0, Kyle, I think you can even agree. It was a good game. It was a way better game than what we've seen, but there's still a lot of missing. That defense held the Patriots in check the entire game. They scored a pick 6, which is huge. If it wasn't for that defense, the game might have got out of hand a little bit. I mean, the offense came up. They looked better. But I think you and I can both agree this team wants to go all the way, which I think this team can this year. They got to be able to connect
Really?
on all cylinders. And I still think there's
Nick?
some missing plays. Yes.
That's a little bit of a hot take. I'm sorry. I don't think that the Saints, I think, could make the playoffs, but I do not see them going beyond the divisional round.
I think that's probably fair. I think most people are probably going to say divisional round if the Saints make it, which I think most people will say they're probably going to make it. I think any team that makes the playoffs can get hot. That's my point. Kyle, what do you think about my take with this team still having a lot left on the field? I mean, did you see the same thing?
I think I agree with you, but I also highly disagree with you, and I've gotten this debate already. What you were saying is true. The defense played phenomenal, and they set the offense up perfectly. But I know a lot of people are looking at the numbers. Derek Carr only 180 yards. Kamara and Kendre Miller less than 4 yards a carry. I think a lot of people are looking at numbers, and you really had to watch the game and understand. There was a lot of reasons why Derek Carr didn't throw 200 yards, why Kamara and Miller weren't running for 4 yards a game. I've been very critical about the offense all year. I mean, by far, there's no doubt this was the best game the offense had since the season started, but the yardage and the numbers look low because the defense was so phenomenal. I don't know how many times the team started at the 40, 50. There was fumble recoveries, interceptions. They started with short yardage multiple times throughout the game, so they're not going to throw the ball. And when we started getting a lead, you started just running the ball, and everybody, playing conservative a little bit. But the numbers don't show really how good the offense was on Sunday. The offense moved better than they ever have. And the offensive line, man, if I tell you, I could have cried watching. Eric McCoy was the highest grade offensive lineman. Trevor Penning, every single game, each game, he has gotten better. That Derek Carr could have sat there for 10 seconds and probably still wouldn't have been touched. Now, Derek Carr is actually the one that I would put. There's still a problem there with holding on to the ball. Because I watched him hold on to the ball for maybe 8-9 seconds and then take a sack, and okay, 8-9 might be exaggerated, about 6 or 7 seconds, and then he took a sack, and that's too long in the NFL. If you have 7 seconds, that ball should be out of there. So I think Derek Carr still holding the ball too long, but he got things going. He was hitting receivers. Michael Thomas, most consistent receiver in the league right now with 5 catches, 50 yards every game. I think the offense looked great. I don't have much to bash on. The numbers wasn't like explosive. Hey, let me throw 4 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara averaged 6 yards. The numbers weren't there when you look at it statistically wise, but there's factors into why that would happen.
No, and I'm not saying the yards, right? The yards, yeah, most people are going to say that they didn't play a great game. My thing is that there were some plays that were the one play to Olave that should have been a touchdown thrown right to him. had it. I'm not going to knock Olave. He's a great receiver. But, I mean, this game, number-wise, not yards-wise, points-wise, Kyle, I think we can – there were some plays left on that. This game could have been 50-0 if every play was connected. And, again, they're going to be – Carr's going to miss throws. Olave's going to drop passes. Routes aren't going to be ran well. We're going to let up a sack every once in a while. It's going to happen. And that's what, but you ultimately win. It's a great team win. The special teams played great. Rashid Shaheed made the play every single game. Love that guy. Kamara's looking good. Kendre Miller, I feel like this was his breakout game. Really started getting going. And like you said, it was a physical game. They're going to hand off the ball and run the ball. You might only get 3 yards of carry. I don't care that they're not getting the 4.3 or 4.5 that everybody wants. Right? It's a physical football game, and they were running out the clock because they had the lead. I agree 100%. But what I'm saying is that there were some plays that were left to be had. And if this offense, I think in another 2 or 3 weeks from now, we're going to see this offense connecting on all cylinders. Olave is going to be catching everything down the field. And, I mean, this team's going to be able to put up some crazy numbers, against good defenses. And here's another thing that really needs to be understood. The Saints made great defensive play, which allowed the Saints to score some points. But understand this, though, too. The Patriots have a pretty solid defense on paper, and they just got back J.C. Jackson, who was an all-pro for them just a few years ago. And he started, and he didn't look too bad. So, this Saints team did score 34 points and had a shutout against a Patriots team, which is still a top-tier defense. I mean, it's not top 10 because the offense is so bad, but schematically, it's one of the best in the league. Kyle, what were you going to say?
I was said they did lose Judon and Gonzalez, though. They were both out for that. They had a pretty lengthy injury report. Most guys were limited, but they were without those guys. But I mean, I thought so too. I really do believe the Patriots have a top defense. The last couple of weeks, though, that may have been exposed. What Cowboys beat them bricks off of them, Saints beat the bricks. If you look at their they have allowed times 4 as many points as they've scored. That's not 100% on defense, right? That's offense is not getting it right too.
That's your offense.
I don't know if we really know what their defense is. Bill Belichick's a great defensive mind, but I'm not sure if we know how good that defense really is, and I'm a little hesitant on that. But I 100% get what you were saying though about there's plays that should have been made. Honestly, I think either way you could look at that Olave touchdown. Some people, that could have been called. That could be called, and you're like, it was one of those things. I didn't 100% disagree with them that it wasn't called. I'm like, I get it. But yeah, I would like to see Olave hold on to that ball. I'd like to see Carr not stop missing some of these throws. I have noticed there's a little bit less of a zip on that ball. Understandably, his shoulder hurts. I think there was an interview where he said, he kind of ignored a question about how he's feeling. I think he's still feeling pain in his shoulder, but if we can continue doing that and he feels good enough to play, I think that's fine.
Yeah, and I'll wrap this up with 2 things. One thing that we said, the miscommunications too with Jimmy Graham, we saw that one too, where he threw it behind him and he was like the announcer said, sometimes it's not even an accuracy thing. An average Joe's going to be like, oh, he missed him behind. It's a miscommunication thing. He thinks he's going to sit down. He doesn't sit down. He keeps running. He looks behind him. People are going to say it's accuracy. Number 2, as you mentioned too, what the hell was it? You just said something that was a good point, and now I'm forgetting it. What the heck did you just say? Olave, offense, defense, winning game. Shoot. I had something else now.
The zip on arm?
The zip on the ball, Carr ignoring it. I don't remember what the hell it was. Jackson, anything else from you? We got 10 minutes left in this Zoom call, so.
Yeah, look, I think this team's in a really good spot. To just go ahead and do great things. I think the sky's the limit for the offense. I think if Derek Carr, if he, like you said, his shoulder may not be fully healthy yet. If his shoulder gets fully healthy and he can start slinging the ball, start slinging the rock and start hitting his guys downfield. Again, this offense is just, it's going to be explosive, and they're going to, be able to out-explode teams. And then when you have a defense like, they got, the sky's the limit. The sky really is the limit. Looking at the schedule, they do play, I think all these games are, really good, going to be really good games. There's, with the NFC, all these teams could be potential playoff teams. So all these games matter. But I can, look at all these games. This is crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints won every single one of them. Just looking at it, because they could win all. They can win all these games. They're not going to, but maybe they could. But I think the playoffs is definitely definitely in the picture. The division title is definitely in the picture. Playing in the NFC South, I think they're in a really good spot to do great things, and I think we're going to see it. Going into the fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is a team I'm going to continue to say They're sleepers, man. Nobody's talking about them, but that defense is top tier, and I think Dennis Allen has, a really good feel for what he's doing on the defense side of the ball and the offense. If they can keep it going, this team can get far into the playoffs. That's all from us for this segment. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are
Built better.
No better.
180. 180, set.